why this program eliminates addictions. And when I say addictions, I mean addictions to things like alcohol and drugs, but not just alcohol and drugs. Almost everyone is addicted to some substance. It can be sugar, high protein diets, exercise, nicotine, caffeine, and many others. I'm going to talk a lot about alcohol in this video, but the concepts that I'm discussing apply to all of those addictive substances. An addiction, in a sense, is defined as the inability to stop using that substance, the need to keep using it to feel good. This topic is very emotional for me, and I'm going to try to not make this 8,000 hours long, and I'm going to try to keep these emotions in check. But it is very emotional to me because, as you know if you've read my book, I was a raging alcoholic before I got sick. I was a raging alcoholic by the time I was 17 years old, and when I got sick at 22, I stopped drinking, but I only stopped because I was dying and I was so scared, and I just knew that I had to stop abusing my body. But that's not to say it was easy, and maybe more importantly, I really, in a sense, suffered and traded my alcohol addiction for another one, but I'll clarify that in a minute. Just last week, Amy Winehouse died from her addictions, and a few weeks ago, someone I know's friend's wife died of alcoholism, and the prevalent commentary that I hear, that you hear, that we all kind of say is, shame on that person, bad them, gosh, what's their problem? Why didn't they just go get treated? You know, it's their fault that they died, and you know, that's just horrible that they didn't do what they needed to do to stop that addiction. And that has got to stop. Okay, that has got to stop. If you are addicted to something, you don't want to be. I didn't want to be addicted to alcohol, but I couldn't stop. My body was screwed up, completely unhealthy, and alcohol made me feel good. And any of you who is addicted to alcohol, heroin, drugs, exercise, whatever, you're addicted to the feel-good feeling. When you heal your bowel and body with this program, you will get that feel-good feeling, because when you're healthy, you feel great without tons of exercise, alcohol, drugs, sugar, nicotine, caffeine, etc. And that's the way to conquer an addiction. But to act as though it's just a matter of willpower, which I'm going to get to in a minute, is horrifying to me. It is so upsetting to me, so frustrating and so saddening to me that so many of you are told that you are worthless because you have an addiction. It's got to stop. This program heals your bowel and body and eliminates your addictions, period. And the reason it does is because when you are healthy, when your body is healthy, you are eliminating acids from your body. When you do not eliminate acids from your body, one of the many ways your body responds to those uneliminated acids, or one of the many reactions, I should say, to those uneliminated acids, is a lowering of your blood sugar. Now, when your blood sugar goes down, you get tired, cranky, weak, and irritable. Guess what? Alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, sugar, these all increase your blood sugar levels. If your blood sugar was normal in the first place, you wouldn't be looking for something to increase it to make you feel good. So when you heal your body with this program, you end up with normal blood sugar levels, which means you feel great without those blood sugar raising substances, those addictive substances. This program heals all of your organs, including your liver, pancreas, adrenals, which are organs involved in blood sugar regulation. So again, all these other programs that work on, say, high protein diets, and they shove the acids in the organs and get them out of the blood, and yeah, your blood sugar's stable, but in the meantime, your rate of cancer, heart attacks is going up, as well as your damage to the organs that have to be unhealthy to trigger a problem in the first place is increased. on those high protein diets, even on all the diets or the programs where there's tons of supplements being used. You're not doing anything to heal these organs. This program heals your organs. When these organs are healthy, even if you have uneliminated acids, your blood sugar will be stable. This program heals your bowel. It heals the bacterial environment in your bowel. One of the jobs of your gut bacterial environment is to make vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 has been studied for at least 25 years because I used it 25 years ago when I was sick, so probably a lot longer than that. And there's lots of studies and information about it helping with brain chemistry. So, like with blood sugar, when your brain chemistry is not balanced, there are lots of substances like alcohol, like exercise, like drugs, like caffeine, that stimulate your brain chemicals and make you feel better. You all want to feel good. Of course you do. That's human. Why wouldn't you want to feel good? And you found a way to feel good. If your bowel were healthy, you'd make these chemicals and feel good without your drugs, exercise, alcohol, caffeine, etc. While you're healing your bowel and body with this program, body bentonite is invaluable. It eliminates the acids that trigger low blood sugar and the craving or desire for those addictive substances. Unique Healing Methyl B12 gives your body the B12 it needs to make proper brain chemicals, which is helpful until your gut bacterial environment is healthy enough to do that on its own. You will find some information in my book, Unique Healing, in Chapter 10 on these crutches. If you have an addiction, you may need to contact me. My clients with addictions generally need to take much higher amounts of this than has been described in this book. Or you can be patient. Of course, most people aren't, but if you're just patient and do this program for a while, eventually the amounts that I have suggested will be strong enough to get these immediate reductions in the addictive tendencies that you have. Now, I have so many things to say as far as misunderstandings about addictions go. I don't even know where to begin, and I'm not going to cover them all in here. In 2012, you will find my book, Unique Healing Part 2, and in that book, I have a large section on addictions, and you can read a lot more about this then. But in the meantime, I'm going to say again, addictions are not about willpower. My ability to not overdo, whatever, or I don't even use drugs, I don't drink, I don't want to drink. There's no effort involved. I've been around bars, I've been around drinking people, I've been in super stressful situations in my life, and those have never triggered the desire for that alcohol. Just like when I was sick and unhealthy, I loved sugar too. So that desire hasn't been triggered either because my system keeps my blood sugar stable and strong. But as I always say, I'm not a better person than you. Heck, I may emotionally be more messed up than you are, but I'm healthier than you who has the addiction. I'm healthier than you are. And that makes it effortless and easy for me to turn down the alcohol and the sugar and the caffeines and all that other stuff. The other thing is that most addictive treatment programs work simply by trading one addictive crutch for another. So again, the alcohol is a crutch. It's a crutch because it makes you feel good, but it doesn't address why you don't feel good in the first place. So if you go even to an AA meeting, you're going to find people all over the place, and they are smoking cigarettes, drinking sodas, drinking caffeine. Lots of people are put on medication. So the medication or the nicotine or the caffeine all of a sudden replaces the physiological action that the alcohol had. So one crutch has been traded for the other. The problem for that is that, number one, you're not doing anything to extend your life or quality of your life by switching from acidic toxic alcohol to acidic toxic nicotine, for example, or toxic medication. But maybe more importantly, the reason these programs continue to fail is because they require you to have that crutch available at all times. So let's say, again, you're an alcoholic and you've learned that if you just eat lots of sugar, that you can stay away from the alcohol. But all of a sudden you're out one night with all your friends and it's a reunion and you're at a bar and there's lots of drinking and there's no sugar, but there is alcohol around. you're feeling lousy because your blood sugar's messed up, your brain chemistry's messed up, and all of a sudden that alcohol is going to look pretty good. Next thing you know, there you are back in the alcohol. Especially for celebrities and people who are around that all the time, or if it's part of their profession, like a musician, you know, that's the crutch that's available at all times. Addictions are largely physiological, meaning, how do I say this? I think we all have psychological issues, some way worse than others. And I'm not discounting the benefit of psychological help and counseling for addictions. But when that is done and nothing is done to heal the underlying ill health of the body that sets you up for that addiction in the first place, there's enormous failure. And there is enormous failure in programs that rely only on the psychological end of an addiction. In fact, I would say the physiological end is way more relevant than the psychological. Again, I can just even look at my personal experience because I've had at times some enormous stress in my life since I've healed my body, and that psychological stress has never triggered me to go back into my addictions. Quick other couple things. It is important to note that when you say drink alcohol, everyone always thinks it's just harming the liver, but that's not true. Alcohol is acidic. Okay, so are drugs, medications, nicotine, or cigarettes, caffeines, coffee, excuse me, not caffeine, but coffee. And every organ is damaged by that, not just your liver, the highly publicized liver. So likewise, you should know by now that blood tests are a horrible way of measuring the health of your body. If you don't understand that, look at my video on blood tests, and you can find more information in my book, Unique Healing, as well in Chapter 2 about how blood tests do not accurately even come close to accurately showing the health of an organ. And I mention that because, of course, I think many of you have been led to believe wrongly and dangerously that if you're an alcoholic and you go to the doctor and your blood test doesn't show liver enzymes that are elevated, that you're getting away with it. Well, I thought that too. Believe me, I thought I was getting away with it big time. I would go drink my face off, couldn't remember a thing, wake up the next day, get an A in Latin, and I thought, well, I'm getting away with it. Well, it did crash down on me big time at age 22, and it will and always does catch up with you eventually. Don't think it's not harming you just because your blood tests look okay or even you seemingly feel okay after drinking. In fact, that takes me to the last thing, which is a high tolerance to these things is quite unhealthy. So again, I think on the contrary, people like me and many of you who say drink a lot, feel fine the next day, wrongly think you're getting away with it. The less healthy you are, the less you will react negatively to that alcohol. The healthier you become in this program, the more reactive you will become. And so I do want you to know that too, because I'd hate for you to do this program, become more sensitive, and wrongly interpret that as something's getting worse or you're getting worse. On the contrary. Not to mention the fact that many alcohol treatment programs have relied on or tried to rely on drugs and things that make you feel lousy when you drink to get you to stop drinking. Well, guess what? The healthier you get, the lousier you're going to feel when you drink, and that's going to help you not desire that. And don't worry, as you get healthier and don't feel as good drinking, you are, though, getting healthier, so you also aren't needing to drink as much to feel good. So it's okay you don't feel as good because you also are finding that you don't need to drink that much to feel good in the first place. I hope I explained that right. It is one of my many dreams to one day open a center that treats addictions with this program, and I'm going to keep fighting and working towards that, and I do hope to accomplish that one day. But in the meantime, I hope you can share this with as many addicted people as you know, and if nothing else, maybe have more understanding and compassion about where they're coming from. Don't take it personally. If it's someone you love, don't put it on them that if you love me, you'd stop. Understand that this isn't something in their control. It's not what they want. They feel horrible. I felt horrible. My self-esteem was horrific when I was an alcoholic because I couldn't stop, and it made me feel horrible about myself. I wanted to, I couldn't. When I stopped, I felt horrific physically. And no one can feel horrific physically every day. When I first got sick and quit drinking because I was scared, I felt horrific every single day. Well, I put up with that largely because I was scared enough about my condition to put up with it. But it's not fair to ask someone to put up with that, and it's not realistic either. So for more information, as always, you can go to my website, www.uniquehealing.com. In 2012, you can look for my book, Unique Healing Part 2, which will have a whole section on this, and I hope that has helped.